state board has allocated $400,000 for the supplemental grant, and they are aware that unfortunately there is uncertainty of the severance tax dollars because that's based off the oil and gas taxes. So there is uncertainty with that in the future. They did ensure that they set aside some dollars to ensure current program fundings for DCT and matching grants. So at least there's 1 year of savings kind of set aside if we ever had some issues with that allocation. So this $400,000 is in addition to that. Allie is going to go over all the details of it, but please definitely be sure you read the application guidelines. Like we said, it's a fast turnaround. They're due February 19th. There's a lot of changes on these. Reach out with questions to the grant email inbox. Allie and Pepper monitor that daily and can get back to you with quick answers to kind of get the ball rolling. With that, I'm going to stop talking and give it over to Allie to just dive into the details.
Thank you so much, Nikki. Yeah, so super excited to see everyone join this morning for this really good opportunity that we have here. So the 2025 Supplemental Matching Grant, like Nikki mentioned, it is $400,000. It is a one-time supplemental matching grant for 2025. And like she also mentioned, the application is now open and it is due February 19th by 5 o'clock. Make sure to submit your applications to our inbox. The available awards are anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 per applicant. Note that conservation districts are not allowed to co-apply to receive a higher grant award. As you may all know, our matching grant, our normal matching grant, it's a 50-50 match requirement, which for this supplemental matching grant, it has been lowered to 20%. And that 20% may be all in-kind match. So definitely less restrictions. Some of the eligible expenses, as you guys know, can be just on-the-ground conservation projects, cost sharing of stockwater developments on conservation reserve program lands, planting grasses, trees, shrubs. We can go, I'm not going to read all the eligible expenses here. However, some of the eligible expenses for this supplemental matching grants are not listed on, are not the current ones that we have on matching or the match grant. The differences would be salaries can be allowed for this one, allowed for employees or contractors specifically hired for project management related to the grant, travel expenses, and direct cost, including but not limited to construction cost and research supplies. So a little bit of our grant timeline and reporting. The grant award notice will be late March. We will be meeting with our CSCB board March 6th to come to determination of eligible applications, and we're going to take all our funding recommendations to the board on March 6th. So we should have a decision and answers soon after, and you'll be notified whether you receive an award or not. Let me see here. So the reporting will be similar to the matching grant. Quarterly reports and reimbursements must be submitted through our grant box or email, and all the expenses eligible for reimbursement must be from June 30th, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. All final reporting must be submitted by July 30th of 2026. One little detail, small detail that I wanted to mention was the final report is going to require before and after pictures of projects. So make sure that if you do apply for this opportunity to take before pictures. A lot of the times we don't receive those before pictures, which they're great projects, and um, pictures are really a good thing to bring to our board and show how much improvement or how your projects um, go on the long run. So, with that, I am going to turn it over to questions. If any of you guys have questions, we can go ahead and just raise your hand, or we can go into the chat and just read those questions.
And Allie, I can help read the questions too, if that helps.
Perfect.
And I might be able to answer this one since I put it in there. In the application, there are the instructions for how to download, and those are incomplete for where to download. Thank you, Mariah. You are supposed to download the document if you want to work on it instead of the Google Doc on Microsoft Word. Download it to your computer or wherever you're saving it on your server or hard drive. Work on it, and you can use that to work and then submit it. And Allie, does equipment qualify leasing or purchasing? And Daniel, that's a good question. And I'll help Allie with this too. Uh, it definitely reach out to us with some more questions on that. There has to do with some dollar amounts and thresholds if we have to put more requirements for a grant award on purchasing equipment. So like uh, I'm sorry, I'm totally losing the word. Begins with a D. Depreciation schedules and that kind of stuff. So it's a little hit or miss there, but please reach out to us with questions on that.
Yes, and I can do a little bit more research on that and give you a more concrete answer.
Nancy's question on does the cactus eradication fit into this grant? If it is a noxious weed listed, or you can explain the importance of eradicating it in your area for your producers and the impact it makes on them, that is also a good one. And Ben, I see your hand raised.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for hosting this webinar. It's great to clear some things up. I just wanted to make sure I understood this correctly. Do I have it right that basically we need to have all of our reimbursements in by June 30th, 2026?
Yes. So it's not a calendar year grant. It's actually a year and a half. The state board thought if we gave more time, especially since we don't know, if we determine awards in March and it takes our accounting team 30 days to get a purchase order out to you guys, that's crazy to have those done by November of this year. So the state board pushed it out to next summer. So
Okay.
it's a longer grant period window too.
Gotcha. Well, I guess that answers my next question if there's any leniency to that. But and the reason I was kind of asking too is because I'm also intending maybe some noxious weed treatment. But that's a multiple year long battle.
Mhm.
So if this money were to be used, it just kind of helps me determine like how much to ask for and the timing, et cetera. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I do want to point out if it's not a common practice, but there have been maybe a handful in the last 5 to 10 years that a district has run into an issue and they've had to request an extension of their matching grant. So it's not common practice because we really do try to spend those awards so that we can report on them with partners, with the legislative committees, all that kind of stuff. But if there is a situation where you need to push it out a little bit more, because I totally get it, this is the middle of summer, right in the middle of another field season. But if you can kind of forecast that in your grant application, we can take that into consideration for this round too.
Okay, so add that in the application, maybe.
Yeah, if
Okay,
that might be a
awesome.
potential, that would also give our board a little heads up and give Allie and Pepper some heads up on it, when they go into contracting it, if we can work with our accounting folks to do anything proactively and set it up differently, we could look at that. But generally speaking, that June is the goal.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Sorry, I'm already being difficult.
No, you're good. We're expecting these questions. It's new for everybody, so happy to have them. And yes, Daniel, I think that might have answered your question. The grant period actually ends in 2026, June 2026. Harmony's question is, does this grant application require a board vote, and can the vote be done over email? And Allie, do you want to cover that? I think you might have touched on it a little bit.
Yes, I believe your board does have to vote on the application.
Yes, so you can look at calling a special virtual meeting if you need to, just for this case, with a 24-hour notice. Or if you run into different issues trying to get that scheduled, explain that in your application if the board has not voted on it, because we will need that requirement before contracting. And there's a question about engineering to design a new flume covered, and I don't see why that would not be included, so that's a good one too.
Yeah, I would just
Nikki, I have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alejandro. I have a question, but I can't find Ray's hand on my phone when I'm driving. So
That's okay. No, I just wanted to mention that to get creative, get creative with your projects. Let us know if you're just uncertain if they're eligible. But just because it's such a flexible grant, definitely let us know what your thoughts or maybe some other projects that you've had in mind that don't really fit other grant guidelines. Maybe this is the opportunity to go ahead and get those projects implemented.
Yeah. Tanya.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Couple questions. One, and I think you mentioned it, but my phone was cutting in and out. So we can't start on the project until June. Is that right? Or can we start as soon as we're awarded our funding?
You can start as soon as you are awarded the encumbrance document, whether that's a purchase order or a contract.
Okay, perfect. And then another question, partnershiping with neighboring conservation districts. Can we do double the funding, or how would that work?
No, there is no partnering on, I mean, you could partner on this grant, but it is restricted to the 50,000 no matter what. So there's really not kind of a benefit other than if you just want to show a partnership.
Okay.
Financially, there's not a benefit, sorry.
Okay. No, I was just double checking on that to make sure too. So
yeah. Anything else, Tanya?
I think that that's all for right now.
Okay. Well, be safe
Thank
while
you.
you're driving.
Yeah, there's so many people. I just saw my first car.
Okay. So yeah, like Allie mentioned, this is an 80-20 match. It's not the 50-50. And the 20%, there's a question from Tristan on federal funds eligible for matching. Yes, these are 100% state dollars. So you can match them with federal, local, any other dollars you might have. And they can be 100% in kind as well. There is not a cash requirement for this match. The 20% can be in kind or cash or a combination of those from other funding sources. And if the purchase of a drone is acceptable, I'd say you can throw it in there. Other questions?
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, I think I saw one come in.
Let's see. If you have several projects, can they all be included, or does the grant just have to just apply for one specific project? It is whatever the conservation wishes to proceed with. So if you have a combination of projects to, spend the $50,000, that is perfectly acceptable. If you have maybe a couple ideas and you want to split it up a little bit, you can do that. If you do end up doing that, you have to let us know your priority of funding. If Noxious weed is your first priority funding, so that's a separate grant you're throwing in. You want that to be funded first, but if that doesn't get funded, then your second, grant application of a soil workshop or something would be the second option, something like that. Penny, we will definitely look at the equipment and especially no-till drills and let you know. And yes, the 100% of your 20% match can be in kind. That is a huge shift in match and the requirement. So, but that is accurate, Mariah. And there will be a review committee, Ben, and a vote from the state board on each application. The review committee for this supplemental is just a small subset of the state board who are willing to review it. They have barely a week to review all the applications. You'll notice when you jump in there and look at the application is a totally separate format and layout from previous ones as well. And Harmony, would you like to unmute and ask a question?
That would be awesome. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna start my video too. Maybe you can see me too. So last year we had flooding in one of our tributaries, and it was pretty large. It was like one of the highest water flows that we had seen in a while, and it caused stream bank damage on several private land, agricultural producers' land. And I had NRCS come out to do an assessment of just a preliminary look, see what can be done here. And so we have many, I think there's like 3 or 4 landowners who are concerned that it's been washed out. We have a head gate that's been displaced or misplaced or whatever. And I was wondering if something like this could be eligible for this grant if I hired a contractor to do the work to stabilize the stream banks and do that repair. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to submit an application. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Cool.
All sorts of, there's a lot of projects out there. The state board is pretty aware that there's a lot of nuances where you might be able to get federal funding for one side of things, but not the other. And, what does that look like? So this is really kind of the district's limited opportunity to funds to help with these type of things. So yeah.
This is so great. I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
Nikki, I don't know if you want me to try to help too, to help you answer the questions. But I can jump in. So Holly, I see your question that you're new to matching grants, and are there examples of previous successful grants from other districts somewhere that you could view? We have examples on our operations website of fact sheets that have been from successful projects in the past. If you want to go to the operations website, I put the link earlier in the chat and I can link it again. If you want to go check that out. And Mariah, you asked about sam.gov ID. Yes, you would need to have one of those. It looks like one of your districts is hitting a snag. I mean, I think if you put your cage number on there and then just detail the snag and that it should be fixed, as long as it's fixed by contracting, I don't see why there would be a problem. And then let's see. Okay. I don't think there's any other questions in here. They just say cool, cool. So, any more questions? Harmony, do you have another question, or your hand is just still up?
Sorry, I forgot to lower. I'll do that.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. No worries. I just don't want to miss anything. Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
I have one more. Is this
Sure.
also available for the the Employees Association as well?
That is a good question, Tanya. How about we find out next week with the board and let you know?
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. I do want to say one more thing. Like Allie mentioned too, the application's new, the guidelines are new. We fully expect a lot of questions as you guys start jumping in there. So definitely keep that in mind, allow yourself enough kind of work time, but reach out right away too. Don't kind of beat yourself up over it. Go ahead and just ask and we'll help you get going.
And then Nikki, Mariah asked about could water associations or watershed associations apply for the matching grant? Should we just confirm with the board again?
Yeah, I actually I don't think that's a board vote because the ruling under when the bill was put into place for the funds, Mariah, is supposed to go straight to the conservation district. So I don't think the watershed associations necessarily can apply as a watershed association, but if a district wants to, apply on behalf of the watershed association and list those other districts as partners, that's fine. But yeah.
All right. Any other questions? This is an awesome opportunity. Okay, back to drones. In training or education related to the drones eligible for the grant fund. So what I saw from Nikki's comment was I think if you included it on your application and your budget and why that's important, then I mean the committee can review it and the board can vote. Yeah. The recording of the coffee hour will be available later this week and be able to share with your boards. Yep, as soon as we get off here, I'll start editing it to put on the YouTube channel and it's on the operations website, but I'll send out a link too. You're welcome. All right. Okay. One more question. Can studies and modeling be funded through this? What do you?
Yes. Yes, yes, with explanation. So
Mhm.
I'd say the biggest key for all of you to consider, whether it's drones, training for drones, studies, modeling, education, is how can you tie that to on the ground future conservation projects? Whether it's educating your landowners to be more open to conservation projects from the district or from NRCS or from other partners, or if it's a study or modeling that can provide support for a future grant, especially if you're in the water realm and looking at CW or the Colorado, sorry, try not to use acronyms, the Colorado Water Conservation Board funding pools. Um, Anything that you can tie to we're doing this because it will impact X, Y, and Z. That is the key thing. Definitely make sure you're looking at the potential metrics. There are tables for education and on the ground projects as part of the application. And we are really trying to grab metrics from those tables. You might only have one line that you could provide a number of acres or a number of landowners, but that information is extremely valuable for us. We are actually making some handouts right now to support and kind of share the good work that you all have been doing the past few years on those metrics that we have collected and trying to lock in our funding that's a little rocky right now. So we're trying to really do that. That really helps us explain it, and any information that you can provide along those lines just helps us out on that as well.
All right. Are there restrictions on how many pages the application can be?
I believe it was 10 pages. Correct. Yes.
Perfect. Thanks.
10 pages.
All right. These are great questions. Are there any more? All right. Well, this is a great opportunity, and I hope to see you guys all apply. And if you do have any other questions, just reach out to the grants email and they'll get it answered for you. Otherwise, thank you guys for joining us. And I will call it an end.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.